And howdy, Ags from the tailgates, C Money, Alejo, coach as they call me, home of Aggie football today. One thing I've always appreciated about our show, which is, I know, patting myself on the back.
What?
We always talk football.
Always.
Yeah, it's awesome.
Really
Today's
well.
episode is brought to you by Matthews Electric, full service electrical contractors in the Brazos Valley. No job too big, no job too small. Call Blaine at 979-220-6403. Light up your home, light up your life. That's right. Email us at agstailgate@gmail.com. Find us on the YouTube. Subscribe. Smash. Corey, we're going to start today's show off with Natty.
There you go.
That's what this is all about, right?
Winning championships.
Winning championships. It's
Doesn't
all
matter
about.
what sport.
No matter what sport.
That's right. We'll talk about it.
And this week, women's tennis team
Tennis.
won a team national championship.
Right.
They beat Georgia 4-1 in the final.
Domination.
They were ranked number 13 going into the tourney.
13.
And they won it, baby.
Won it.
Natty, first ever Natty for women's tennis.
Right.
Woo!
That's right.
That's what I'm talking about, baby.
That's right.
That's program history.
History.
That's game changing. The Aggie name and brand is now out there.
Out there.
Out there.
I feel like I'm saying a lot of what you're saying.
Yeah. Women's golfer Adela Cernausek wins the individual championship in women's golf.
Bless her heart.
Natty.
Natty.
Once again, baby. Program changer.
Natty.
From here on out, that's all that's expected in golf and tennis. It's
Good.
natties or nothing.
Raise
You
the
know what I
bar.
mean? Raising the bar.
Way
Look.
up there.
And we still got both track teams that are ready to go put it on the line, continue to bring to this program.
Men's and softball. Baseball.
Softball took game 1 from TU in Austin.
That's right.
Play today at 4:00.
Dominated.
They're gonna start in a little while.
Domination.
Domination 6-5. I love
There you
it.
go.
Baseball into an SEC tournament.
Well, that's not dominating.
That is not dominating.
No.
But we still think they're getting a top 8 seed. They'll be at home for the remainder of the playoffs as
Right.
long as they survive until the College World Series. They're better at home.
Well,
the Bats have been struggling, but
That's a guess. We're not sure about the whole being at home the whole time. We'll get a regional. After the regional, it might be up in the air because we kind of sucked the last couple of weeks.
I don't think it matters. I think they're still getting a Super Bowl.
Okay.
But
We'll see.
hey, we'll find out on Monday.
You guys wrong a lot, so we'll see.
Me, never. Look, the Bats need to get going, right? I mean, whatever it is, they got to sort of find their little rhythm there offensively. Too many strikeouts. They're giving up too many opportunities to put runs across the board with a strikeout. I think that they have to sort of tweak their approach, right? All year long, they've been taking a lot of pitches and seeing a lot of pitches, walking a ton. And then, as the season's gone on, I think teams have adjusted and said, well, let's throw some strikes to these guys, see what happens. You know what I mean? I think that means that they need to start being maybe a little bit more aggressive.
Anybody in particular, any player that's let you down a little bit that you're surprised about?
None of the players have let me down, man. I think they're playing hard. I think they're doing their thing. I just think they have to tweak a little bit, right?
Not even Braden Montgomery been in a little bit of a slump.
He's in a little slump, but man, you gotta love Braden Montgomery. I mean, that dude's been the heart and soul of this team probably all year long. Definitely the first 3 quarters of the season, right?
Well, maybe they should put him out there on pitch a little bit, get in the game. I don't know.
Hey,
Something a little different.
Hey, maybe so. That's not a bad idea.
Yep.
But they do need a little bit of spark. Hopefully, they go in and get a nice matchup in the regional.
Well, they're on the Longhorns here.
I don't think so. I don't think
There's
so.
our man being wrong again, guys. There he is.
The Longhorns will not be in the A&M regional.
Go ahead. I don't know why you say that.
I'm just saying.
Okay.
I'm saying
Wrong,
it, and it's going to come true. No, that's those folks at Texas just pushing the agenda over there.
There you go.
Whatever.
There you
go. Obviously we're going to talk football today, and
Right.
we're going to continue on this quest for natties, man. Natties,
Quest.
right? And so
We talking about football, Natty?
one of our that's what has to happen, right? That's what this is the only place to go is football
Right,
natties.
right.
And so, the fact of the matter is, we no longer have a clown for a head coach. That's a good positive thing, right?
That sounds much fun. I like clowns.
Yeah, clowns can be entertaining, but they can also be creepy.
They're creepy.
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 And so therefore, no clown, probably better for the football program. Now Elko, I don't know. Who knows? Maybe he becomes a clown.
Man,
We never know. I think he'd probably look good in like the rainbow little wig or whatever. You know?
No,
Good
no.
look for him.
That's
Anyway,
what I'm talking about.
anyway, but one of our favorite shows of the year every year is over under win totals in the
Exactly.
SEC.
We end up losing money on this almost every year.
No,
Actually, we usually break even.
break even.
It's usually close to breaking even.
This year, though, we're on a streak, man. We broke the curse of Friday night yesterday.
You did. I didn't.
Absolutely shattered the curse.
Yep.
Good to go.
Got a
So we're
hangover
on the
days.
streak.
It's good. Got
Yeah,
a
we're
hangover
on a
days.
freaking streak, man.
Hurting.
Yeah, you had a shout out.
Yeah. Well, we just watched a movie called The Fall Guy,
Yeah,
and can't remember the guy's
Emmy?
name. Ryan Goslinger. He's a friend of the show. Loves us. Good job, Ryan. Did his own stunts. I enjoyed the movie. Leho thought it was not up to par for his stuff, but
I was really hoping that I could get on the GMC website and find the Fall Guy pickup truck version. They don't offer it. They don't even offer those colors in the two-tone shit brown.
yeah,
They don't offer them.
Well.
Yeah, they don't offer a brown at all.
that's a shame.
Kind of messed up.
That's a shame.
Couple more shout outs. Couple more shout outs.
Go ahead.
Nice lunch today.
Yeah, Casa Rod.
Casa Rod,
Casa
man.
Rod.
Good for the hangover.
Oh,
Oh,
wasn't good for the belly right now.
no. But real good, real good.
Mhm.
And then last night, the little angry elephant action.
Yeah.
Angry
good
elephant.
time.
If Brian, today maybe we
Who
get
was
the call
the
station.
staff that helped us out there? A girl named Sam.
Sam.
She helped us out.
Yeah, she was cute.
She's nice. Saw Curtis there.
Yeah, Curtis was
Good to
there.
see
Good
Curtis.
to see. So some shout outs there. A little shout out to Stacy Lou. Stacy
Stacey
Lou
Lou.
down in Memphis.
There you go, Stace.
Yeah, thank you for being around. All right, so let's get right into these over under win totals for 2024.
Do it. You name the
No
team.
particular order here, but basically, actually, there is an order from the highest win totals to the lowest win totals.
Gotcha.
Of course, we're gonna leave A&M for last because that's how we
All
roll.
right, but hold on a second. Let me get something here real quick. Go ahead. Who's
So-
your first team?
First team, there's two teams with the highest win totals.
All
This
right.
is according to Vegas. The first one is Georgia. Georgia, no surprise, highest win total, 10.5 wins. I think everybody has a pretty good feeling that, Kirby Smart and his crew down there are absolutely loaded.
Yeah.
They're absolutely freaking loaded and they're gonna win, right? They're gonna win. So 10.5 wins. Why don't you tell me who are the tough opponents here on that schedule this year?
Real quick, their whole
Yeah.
schedule, real fast.
Okay,
They play at, it says Clemson,
okay,
Tennessee Tech, Kentucky, Alabama, Auburn, Mississippi State, Texas Longhorns, Florida Gators, Ole Miss, Tennessee, UMass, and Georgia Tech.
all right, I want to talk about a few of these, all right?
Man,
Let's-
that's a pretty tough schedule, actually.
That is a pretty tough schedule. But I'm gonna tell you this. Everybody's giving Ole Miss a ton of credit here. Georgia absolutely clobbered them last year, wasn't even close. I don't think Ole Miss has a chance in hell to beat Kirby Smart and the Georgia Bulldogs.
Where's that game at?
That game is
In Ole Miss.
in Ole Miss. I don't care.
I'll give them a fighting chance.
Not even a fighting
I'll give
chance.
them a fighting chance.
So if you ask me, the toughest games that we're talking about here for Georgia are probably
They play at Texas.
Alabama,
Yeah. Alabama. Okay.
at Texas,
Yeah.
and Kentucky.
They play Alabama at Alabama. They play.
3 road games right there that I
They
think
play
are
at Clemson.
at
Is
Clemson.
Clemson gonna be any good this year?
Man,
All right, there it is. There's
worry
no
about
respect for Clemson.
no respect.
There it is. They play at Alabama. Is that a win?
I don't know. I don't know that is a win. I think
Auburn.
Alabama beat them last year.
Auburn gonna be any good?
No,
Okay. Mississippi State any good?
no.
They're gonna beat Texas at Texas?
I already named the games.
I'm just telling you. Are they gonna beat Texas at Texas?
At Texas, at Bama, at Kentucky. There's your over under.
Kentucky. What about Tennessee? You're not giving Tennessee a chance?
No, none.
All right. I guess
You tell me.
Go ahead.
10.5. Those 3 games. Do they lose 2 of those 3?
No.
No?
No.
No chance.
I don't think so.
I'm taking the under.
There you go. Who's the loss?
Look, if this thing was
How many
11,
games they lose last year?
they lost one,
Okay.
and it was in the SEC championship.
Oh, okay.
But they're playing a much more difficult schedule this year.
Just saying.
And by the way, they lost all of their offensive weapons.
Did
Right?
they?
Yeah.
They lost their quarterback?
Well, no, he's still there.
Oh, okay.
But let's be real. It wasn't the quarterback that got this offense moving. It was Brock freaking Bowers.
Do they have a great defense? Do they have a great offensive line?
That
Do they have a
defense has
quarterback?
taken a hit with the defensive linemen that they've lost over the last few years. They're not as dominant up front as they have been. Now, don't get me wrong. It's Kirby Smart. It's Georgia. They're going to throw another set of 5 stars up in there.
Right.
But I'm telling you, this team is. Look, I think they lost too much in the last couple of years in order to just reload and roll off 11, especially against a schedule like the one that they have with those road games against legitimate teams in Texas, Kentucky, Ole Miss for some people, and Alabama. I think it's too much. I don't think they get out of there unscathed, one, which puts them if this was 11, I'd take the under all day long.
So is that roster talented? Is my question. They have a talented
Yes.
roster. They have a great coaching staff.
Are they the
They have a
best?
great.
the most
Do they have a
talented
great
roster?
coaching
Maybe.
staff?
Yes.
Is he the best coach in college football right now?
Yes.
I mean, you sure you're not gonna win 11 games?
No, they could win 11.
Okay, I think you're talking yourself out of it right now.
But
You're the
I'm-
guy that always says coaching matters.
Coaching
Oh,
matters.
coaching matters. Coaching. They have a talented roster.
all right, you convinced me. No, you didn't.
Yeah, I
You
think I
convinced
did.
me it's going under. Because they're going to beat Texas in Austin
They're gonna be Texas. Okay,
Yeah.
then they're gonna move to Kentucky
and Alabama.
and Alabama.
Yep.
Okay.
You want to know why?
No,
You said why.
for sure. If you think Kentucky's better than that,
Kentucky is gonna have a guy on their team that is looking for edge. Rock Vanderbilt, the new starting quarterback at Kentucky, transferred from Georgia. Bringing in the sequence of the playbook. The guy is gonna be in that game. Against Georgia. It's a lot of fun. We already done that, yeah. We also, yeah, what, they're gonna be? Hey, they're on the one and that. So the people, we're going on. They're all on the road for very tough opponents. 4 top 10 opponents. And we. Taxes. Taxes. And ESPN local there. And anyway, then I think you got that. That. You know, I'll get and it was so last year and all of that great. And it was. That was why this had to go by drafting first two out, more they have, every time, not making it their, that as well, same with that end, you know, that what I think what happened happen, they lost a lot of pieces around for you now. Well, there's a lot of it still there, there's more guys that good, that he's good, but everything, I mean, sure, if I transfer, if I do specifically. They have to lost into that even spot. And some pieces on that defense, and to me,
That's all, that's more valuable as far as what they're gonna have to do next year.
Right.
I don't think that this team, look, Sark had the year, that is his one sole good year as a head coach, by the way.
Is he a good coach?
He's an okay coach.
What's okay, like 500?
Yeah, I think he's,
halfway coach in the SEC.
yeah, well, I think he's excellent at game planning, at play construction offensively, right?
Right.
I think he's super creative in the way he does things. You know, that where they get in trouble offensively is when they have to go off script because first and second down didn't go to plan, and so they maybe third and longs and stuff like that. They're not as good in those areas. But I think he's great in that sense. You know, as far as like a team builder and, you know, that kind of thing, I don't think he's that top level guy. But here's my point is in all his years of coaching, last year was his best year. I think they're losing way too much. I don't think they're just going to turn around and rebound. I don't believe in Quinn Ewers, by the way. I actually think Manning will be starting before the end of the year on that team.
Why? Because Quinn Ewers gets hurt, or they just gonna bench him?
Because he gets benched. He gets benched this year. That's my prediction, my bold prediction, and I'm definitely going under, but read us the schedule.
Okay, real quick, they play Colorado State, then at Michigan,
At Michigan.
UTSA,
Yeah.
Louisiana Monroe, Mississippi State, Oklahoma,
Oklahoma.
at Texas.
Well, it's Red River Riders.
Georgia at Texas.
Georgia.
Texas at Vandy, Florida Gators, Arkansas, Kentucky Wildcats
Kentucky.
at Texas. Texas has a ton of home games, and they play at A&M.
And at A&M.
What is that? Are you counting all the losses?
I'm counting teams that can give them potential losses, and that's Michigan, that's Oklahoma,
Oh,
that's the Aggies,
yeah.
that's Georgia, right? And
You didn't
so,
say Kentucky or Florida?
and Kentucky, no, Florida. And so a lot of those games are at home, but I still
A
think
lot of games are at home. That's what I was doing. I was like,
yeah.
1, 2,
Look, they're going to lose to Georgia.
3.
I don't think that's even a question. Michigan, I don't know because Michigan lost too much. They're replacing their coach and everything else after winning the Natty, right? They could be getting better at quarterback because I think JJ McCarthy sucked, even though he was a top 10 or 15 draft pick.
We have 8 home games.
Yeah,
And
they-
12. That's
yeah.
a lot. That's not Texan.
But they lost to Oklahoma last year.
Yeah, that's always
Right?
a battle. That's always a battle.
Kentucky, like I've been saying, is probably underrated. Don't look past Kentucky to take one of these games from Texas.
Yeah.
And as you know, hell, this over under may come down to the Aggies in game number 12 of the season.
I don't
Right?
think so. I think they'll lose to at least 2 games earlier. I mean, you're looking at Michigan, maybe, and you're looking at
Georgia, Kentucky.
Georgia,
So
and Oklahoma could be. You know, that's always a battle. That game, you fill out the records. I don't care. 2
Yeah.
teams.
that's rivalry, baby.
Yeah, it is.
That's
It's
right.
rivalry. Yeah, it's the same thing with the Aggies. So I'm taking the under on that one.
Yeah, under.
Free money right there, people. Free money.
Put the money in now.
Yeah.
Actually, we're going to double down on everything we owe. today.
401k is going to that.
That's it.
That's it.
The next 2 teams are actually 4 or 5 teams are all at 9.5. We'll start with Ole Miss.
Ole Miss. I like
Ole
it.
Miss.
9.5.
9.5.
Ooh,
They're
I like
getting
it.
a ton of respect.
I'll give it to them.
Look, they've got a talented roster. They've got the quarterback coming back. They've got the wide receiver that's really good. They've got, you know, weapons on the, you know, they lost their best running back, but I think they brought in like 3 different transfer guys.
Yeah, they'll be fine.
They'll be fine at running back. You know, offensive line wise, you know, I think they're going to be okay. You know, to me, Lane Kiffin is one of the problems. He's not a solution. He's a problem.
What is wrong with you?
I'm telling you.
You will not give Lane any respect.
No, when it comes down to when he faces a guy like Kirby, he gets outcoached every freaking time. When he faces,
So you
Kellen DeBoer?
rather have Sark than Lane. Who's a better coach? Who you taking? if you need a coach tomorrow and those two guys are available, who you take?
Are those my only two choices?
That's it.
Can I go like,
Nope, that's it.
maybe like a high school coach or something? I don't know.
No,
Give me anybody other than those
I'll
two
take
guys.
Lane. I'll take Lane Kiffin.
Maybe between those two guys, you take Lane. You know, and look, he's a good schemer offensively, but his problem is he thinks he's too good.
He's a top 10 coach in college football right now.
No, he's not.
Top 10.
No, he's not.
Top 10. Top 10.
Okay,
I'm telling you, the top.
agree
10
to
coach-
disagree, but here's the thing. Look,
You
the
sound like
guy.
an idiot right now on the podcast because you said he's not. You sound like an idiot.
Oh, good, oh, goodness.
Four,
Ole
five,
Miss, Ole Miss.
six.
Look, defensively, those guys have
Seven.
struggled, and all of a sudden they bring in, you know, a
Nine.
couple of transfer players, and they're saying, man, this defense is gonna be so good, right?
Dude,
Look, and I'm a big Walter Nolan fan, and he is a guy, and they brought in some other guys on that defense, but Golden couldn't do a very good job as a defense coordinator at Alabama
yeah,
with better talent, right? Better talent.
sure.
They got rid of his ass.
Yeah.
You know, because the defense was the worst defense that Alabama had in freaking Nick Saban's tenure while he was the defense
Nick
coordinator.
Saban's never Lane Kiffin, right?
All I'm telling you is overrated.
All right, all I can say is over on the win total.
Give me the big game.
There's no, that's what I'm saying, there's only like two big games. I mean,
Right.
you play Furman,
Yeah.
Middle Tennessee,
Yeah.
Wake Forest,
Okay.
Georgia Southern,
Yeah.
Kentucky at Ole Miss,
Okay. There's one.
Ole Miss at South Carolina.
Hmm.
What are you on about?
I mean, I'm saying that they're probably gonna win.
Ole Miss at LSU, is LSU gonna win that game?
Maybe.
Oklahoma at Ole Miss?
Maybe.
No, dude. Ole Miss at Arkansas,
Yeah.
Georgia at Ole Miss,
We're already.
Ole Miss
we're
at- Ole Miss at Florida, and then Mississippi State
All
at Ole
right, so
Miss.
you're right. This may be the easiest schedule in the country, but
That is
they
an
play-
easy schedule compared to
play
what we.
Georgia, that's a loss, right?
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Georgia is only,
Kentucky,
no,
Oklahoma,
I don't think so.
I think so.
Who's Oklahoma's quarterback this year?
He's the,
No, you're putting the Oklahoma, you're saying the Oklahoma team that played in the Big 12 last year that had a tough time with Big 12 competition is gonna
right.
step up and do better against SEC competition? What's wrong with you?
Maybe you're right. Maybe they go over. They could get the 10 wins.
I like
I
that.
like that. I like them.
I like that
over.
I like
You
it.
convinced me.
You should just start listening to me.
No, because here's the thing. I mean, you're right. You know, the schedule is very, very favorable, and the schedule is very. They play Mizzou.
No,
they play
Mizzou's not on there. That's what I'm saying.
Oklahoma, Georgia, and Kentucky are pretty much there,
LSU.
and LSU.
But yeah, I mean,
LSU's
Kentucky,
got-
you're giving Kentucky a lot of love for some reason. I don't even see
No,
that.
I'm just saying that they're in competition, and so yeah, I don't know if they beat them. Honestly, I don't know if that's the case, but I think they're a tough game and tough out for Ole Miss, honestly, and so I think that they could win. But when you're talking about getting, you know, they've got 4 games that are tough. Let's give one loss into them with Georgia, but then 3 others. You got to figure. I mean, I don't know. Are they really going to lose 2 out of 3 of those? Probably not.
Check out this, okay, go to your
Yeah.
next team. This schedule looks weird to me.
We're definitely not there yet, but I guess since you've already got it pulled up, LSU.
Yeah,
All right, LSU at 9.5.
it's a weird schedule, man. It's a weird schedule.
Tell me about it.
They play USC out of the Pac-12.
So took the over on Ole Miss. Huh?
Yeah, I take the over. I take 10 wins, Ole Miss, with that schedule.
Yeah.
I don't think they're a bad team. They don't play
No,
the
no.
Aggies. They don't play the Aggies.
They're not a bad team. They don't play Alabama. They don't play the
Alabama.
Aggies. You know, they don't play Mizzou. You know.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I
They don't
haven't
play
heard
Texas.
Missouri's name yet, have we?
They don't play Texas. No, Missouri's got a good schedule too.
Seriously, man, that's 3 teams we've already said.
But,
Okay.
So LSU 9.5.
LSU plays USC first.
Wow.
Then they gotta give me Nicholls State. South Carolina, they should win that. UCLA. That's 2 Pac-12 teams. Isn't that weird?
Big 10 teams.
Big team, whatever. South Alabama, then they play Ole Miss. They play Arkansas
Mm-hmm.
at A&M,
Mm-hmm.
Alabama,
Mm-hmm.
Florida, Vanderbilt, and ending the season with Oklahoma.
That's 6 games that they could potentially lose. I think.
Yeah, I don't think they're gonna hit their mark either. They lost their quarter to Heisman.
Listen, yeah, they lost Jaden Daniels, and look,
Yeah,
everybody's
the
on.
Heisman, I mean. Did he win the Heisman
Yeah, he
last
won the
year?
Heisman. and everybody's on their new quarterback and Yanni Nussmeier, you know,
Yeah.
and people love him.
They
But
lost
listen,
talent.
they also
You
lost-
talk about weapons.
They also lost 2 first-round wide receivers.
Yeah.
Neighbors, who might have been the best in the
Yeah.
country, and Thomas, who was the biggest playmaker
Mhm.
in the country,
Their
right? Like,
defense, it was awesome last year. Were they
They're-
awesome?
that defense was
Awful.
horrendous. They lost their offensive coordinator to add to that. That defense was horrendous, and
What'd you say, 9.5?
9.5. I'm going way under.
With
on
that
LSU.
schedule, I don't see them 9.5. Yeah, I'm going under.
Way under for LSU.
Under.
And you know what?
Were you writing this down? You putting marks beside it?
No, not at all. But we are recording it as it comes
Yeah.
into everything, right? And it's gonna be memorialized on internet forever. But look, Kelly has done a good job with that program since he's been there. They've won 10 games a few times, the whole shebang, right? But I don't think he's a supreme, we're going Mizzou next.
I got you. Oh,
Coach,
Mizzou next?
Yeah,
Oh, okay.
a supreme coach as far as that's concerned. I don't think he's done great things. He's had great talent. I don't see them replacing all that and coming back this year and going 10 wins. I think it's under. I'm not even.
So out of those teams we said so far, who do you feel the most confident about? Out of all those teams?
LSU under.
I would say the Texas under, then the LSU under is what I feel more confident about.
No, I'd go LSU in the Texas.
Okay, you're wrong.
All right, so Mizzou. Look, Mizzou's getting tons of hype this year, right? And mind you, if they go over,
They're returning a lot of talent.
they're returning a lot of talent, including probably the top wide receiver in the country.
That guy's awesome.
In the
He might have been
country.
top wide receiver
Pardon?
last year. Yeah, I thought he was that good last year.
So look, they do return a ton of talent. They did lose a lot defensively, though. Not only did they lose a lot of players and talent defensively, they lost a lot. They lost their defensive coordinator too. This is the one place that they, you know, there's some questions there. That offense last year was still not big play enough. They're getting a ton of hype. They're a good football team. They've got a chance because of this schedule. Who they playing?
All right. Nobody. Murray State, Buffalo, Boston College, Vanderbilt. Then their first tough game is at A&M.
Aggies at home. We'll put that one in one of them.
Okay. Then you got UMass,
Mm.
Auburn,
Mm.
at Alabama.
2.
Then Oklahoma goes to
3.
Missouri, South Carolina,
Mm.
Mississippi State,
Mm.
Arkansas.
Yeah, so 3 potential losses to get to 9.5. I mean, look, Alabama, we'll talk about it here in a minute, but you know, I think, you know, that game against A&M may be the swing game here for them, right?
Maybe.
They may be. I mean, technically they can lose that one and still get to 10 wins.
We're obviously not giving
Because-
we're obviously not giving Mississippi State, Arkansas, South Carolina much of a chance this year, are we?
No, and we'll talk about them. But you know, should they beat Oklahoma? Well, I don't know. Probably they're probably favored against Oklahoma, right?
I'm down on Oklahoma this year. I'm down. They lost their quarterback. I haven't been high on the coach as a
They're replacing an entire offensive line, basically.
yeah, and they're coming into a different league. I don't think so.
They purposely lost their quarterback. They want the sophomore to take the reins, right? They let
That's the
Gabriel,
dumbest thing I ever heard.
they let Gabriel go
Why would you let him go?
because
This guy was a mate. He carried him.
he wasn't going to play.
What do you mean wasn't gonna play?
They were starting the sophomore. Either that or he was going to transfer.
Jesus Christ.
So that's the world we live in, and they went with the young guy. Now we'll see if
now they're
that's
gonna lose.
we'll see if that's a good choice,
All right.
mind you, but
Just
it is what it is.
stupid. Who's next?
Look, Mizzou, let's get back to them. So you're going over.
Yeah, just because based on their schedule. I think Missouri, if they play Georgia, Texas, you know, just one of those 2 teams, that's a loss, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
I don't know. I'm not sure that the Texas is an automatic loss, but look, I think they lose to Alabama, and then I'm hopeful that A&M gives them a run for their money. I think that gives them to 10. Even if A&M wins, that gets them to 10 wins. I think that's an over. So let's see, who do we got left at 9.5 wins? How about Bama? How
Alabama.
about Alabama? Look, I've been talking pretty big about Alabama.
I know you have.
I'm gonna tell you right now, I'm going over. I don't even need to know the schedule. I'm going over on Alabama. I don't understand where people are coming from, this idea like, okay, Nick Saban retired. Yeah, he did. He's the greatest coach of all time,
Right.
for sure. But let me tell you something, man. Kalen DeBoer, all he did last year, by the way, was take a Washington team. Do they have the talent of Alabama? No. They took a Washington team that a couple of years before he got there wasn't any good, And they lost like 3 games in the entire last 2 years.
Right, I hear you.
You know what I mean? They made it to the championship game. They
Right.
beat Texas, the mighty Texas Longhorns.
What does Alabama have? They have the name Alabama. Everybody's gonna give them their best shot.
Mhm.
Even last year, we saw Alabama play the South Florida team. South
Yeah.
Florida gave them the game. That's when they benched
Yeah, but-
Milroe. It was still,
I expect Jalen Milroe to be better.
you think he's gonna win the Heisman?
Better, yeah.
Okay.
Yes, he's gonna
There you
be right at the top of the Heisman list. He will be in New York on that Saturday.
All right, start getting ready to count your fingers.
Okay,
All right, Western Kentucky,
no,
South Florida,
no,
at Wisconsin.
no,
Wisconsin meeting again this year? At Wisconsin,
no.
at,
They're gonna whoop up on at Wisconsin.
then Georgia at Alabama,
All right, there's a good one.
at Vandy, South Carolina, at Alabama, Alabama at Tennessee.
That's a good game.
That's the thing you just
Oh, it
did.
is. It's a rivalry.
Missouri at Alabama,
Okay, we're at 3.
Alabama at LSU.
LSU, I'm down on LSU.
You're not even giving LSU a fighter's chance of being at home against Alabama. I give them a fighter's chance.
All right, we'll throw the
Because I'll tell you why. I'll tell you why. It all comes down, okay, Alabama at Oklahoma.
Hmm.
And then you have Auburn at Alabama. What happened last year?
Yeah, they
Lucky.
almost won.
Oh, they should have won. That was,
Yeah.
that was
Listen,
retarded.
that's it. There, you know, I think they're the better team in all of those matchups except for maybe one with Georgia, right? I do think that they're the more talented team in all those matchups, but you're right, those are rivalry games when you talk about Tennessee,
Yeah.
LSU,
Mhm.
and Auburn.
Auburn.
It doesn't matter. Throw away the talent, throw away the records. Those are rivalry games, and that's sort of what gets people going on this under right here at 9.5, right? Where are the losses at? Well, yeah, you look at those
Right.
rivalry games and you say, yeah, they could clearly lose those. I am gonna go with Bama and Kalen DeBoer on this. I
9.5.
think the quarterback is gonna have a spectacular Heisman candidate type year. You know, they gotta get some and replace some weapons on the outside to help him. But I think the running game for them is gonna be unbelievable. Unbelievable.
Really.
And that's gonna not only help that offense, it's gonna help the defense. I'm going over, but I definitely see the potential for an under.
Okay.
What are your thoughts?
I'm on the fence. I'm
They
right
did
there.
lose a lot in defensively too, right? They lost a lot of guys in the secondary. They lost their 2 defensive ends and rush ends, right? So they did lose some pieces.
But they're still Alabama. It's like Georgia. You talk about Georgia, they lose a lot of talent, but they replenish. It's
Yeah.
not like these other schools that are really good one year.
DeBoer's not walking into a bear cupboard.
Well, I'm
Right?
just saying, okay, if the board would have stayed at Washington and he lost Penix, all his wide receivers, would they be in the same Washington team
No.
last year?
No.
Because they don't replenish, right?
They don't have that same level of talent.
Exactly. That's what I'm saying. They haven't for that year, and the board's like, well, I need to get the hell out of here now.
Smart dude.
Exactly.
Over or under?
I'm worried about this Wisconsin game. I don't know what Wisconsin has.
Listen, I'm not worried about Wisconsin.
I'm telling you. It's
I
at
think Wisconsin's
It's
overrated.
At Wisconsin.
Wisconsin overrated. Ain't worried about them.
Home field means something.
It does, not in this case.
I'm right there at, I'm gonna say over. But it's still a little.
Smartest man in the room said over me. Yeah. How about Tennessee? Tennessee?
Tennessee.
Look, this is a kind of a big year, I think, for Heupel, right? I mean, yes, last year there was a bunch of hype with the quarterback, the former Michigan guy, he sucked. But boy, they were basing it off of the prior year's performance in the bowl game and all this, and everybody thought that guy was gonna just absolutely roll. He didn't.
Right.
You know, but you look at this Tennessee roster, one, the offensive
What
line.
are they at, 9.5?
9.5.
That just seems like a lot of teams at 9.5.
It does. You look at this Tennessee roster, offensively, you know that Heupel's gonna have them, you know,
Who's the quarterback?
chunking the football. Nico, the sophomore,
Okay.
true sophomore.
All right.
He might be a redshirt freshman. I don't know how many games he played last year, but you know, everybody's very high on Nico. He was the #1 recruit in the country the year before, right? He's a quarterback. He's playing under Heupel, so on and so forth. He had a good game in the bowl game, whatever, right? All these things, but we know and understand that experience is important in college football. This guy doesn't have a ton of reps. Either way, though, this offense is pretty loaded. The wide receivers are excellent. Yeah, McCoy, they've got all those guys back.
Yeah.
You know, I think he's got weapons around him. Question is, can they get the offensive line to be a strength instead of a liability, right? And that's probably a big question for a lot of teams.
Okay.
But to me, this Tennessee team is gonna be explosive. You remember 2 years ago,
Think about Tennessee, they always
Hendon
seem to
Hooker,
lose, they
right?
lose a game they shouldn't lose every year.
Hendon Hooker. You remember 2 years, Hendon Hooker.
Yeah,
That dude was the heart and soul of that team. That's why
Right.
they were as good as they were.
exactly.
Last year, you could see it. Without him, they weren't the same.
No,
You know,
you lose that quarterback like that, and what's the guy's name that played last year? I can't remember his name.
Yeah.
Melbourne, no,
Not Milrow, but
Melbourne,
something like that.
something like, either way. He had a
Milton.
hell of an arm.
Joe Milton.
Yeah, he had a hell of an arm.
Yeah, just couldn't
He
hit the
looked
right side of the
athletic,
ball.
but yeah, he just wasn't accurate and made bad decisions.
Yeah, decision making. So that to me is the question. Can Nico take on Heupel's offense and
Right.
do like Hendon Hooker did? You know, his instincts, his ability to get the ball out and just Hendon Hooker saw things open and got the ball out quick. You know, it wasn't about offensive line and all this stuff, man. It was him. And so my question is that, can Nico reproduce that? And I think that's hard.
Who you take, Heupels, Lane, or Stark?
Here,
Who you take?
maybe Heupel, I don't know. I don't like any of them, to be honest with you.
Okay.
What's on the schedule?
All right, the first, after a give me, they have NC State,
Yeah, not a problem.
at Oklahoma,
Okay,
at Arkansas,
okay,
at home against Florida,
Yeah.
Alabama, Kentucky, and Mississippi State. Those are all home games. Then they're at Georgia. And that's it. They have UTEP and Tennessee or Vandy on it.
that's a tough. Look, let's say they lose to Bama and Georgia. Right?
I'm counting the give me's. 1, 2.
They still got Kentucky, but it's at home.
I'm telling you, they always have a slip up game somewhere.
Yeah, they like,
9.5.
you're gonna lose
seems
one
like
to,
a lot.
maybe lose one to youth. 9.5 seems like a bit much.
I mean, they got Alabama at home. They got
I think they're at 9 wins, man. I think they get to
they
9.
got at Georgia. That's probably 2 losses right there, right?
I think they get to 9. Where's the
Who's,
Florida game then?
Now you're asking about Florida.
Well, the reason I ask about the Florida game is
That's
because
wasn't that game a rivalry?
it's a rivalry and they don't win
at Tennessee.
at Florida. Being
It's at
at Tennessee, that's obviously helpful.
Tennessee at Oklahoma. You're giving that Tennessee as a win?
Not necessarily.
Yeah, I think I mean, it's hard to say.
I'm leaning under.
but I think they have 2 for sure losses.
Yeah, I'm leaning under. I'm gonna go under for Tennessee.
Yeah, I'll go in.
I think the youth at the quarterback position is gonna cost them a game at some point. There's gonna be
Yeah.
turnovers, so on and so
Like
forth.
I said, they always seem to lose a game they shouldn't. And it could be Florida, it could be Kentucky, it could be any of those teams.
Yeah.
Uh,
So that's all the 9.5 win total. A&M's at 8.5. We're gonna skip A&M, leaving for last, and we're gonna go to Auburn.
Auburn.
Auburn at 7.5, and I
Gee, that
just
seems
off
like
the
a
top,
lot.
yeah, just off the top, I feel like 7.5 is way too much. You know, you love your boy. What's his name? The head coach at Auburn, man, getting his second
Why
shot
do
in
you
the
think? Why do
SEC.
you think I love him?
Because you're always talking about how good of a freaking coach he is.
Well, he did a great job when he was at Ole Miss. Then he did a great job at Liberty. I mean, what do you have to do? So what do you have to do to be a great coach? You have to win wherever you go. Wherever you go.
I mean, when you
And
talk
he's
about
gonna start
when
winning
you
it
talk
all.
about winning at Ole Miss, what exactly did he win at Ole Miss?
Games. He beat Alabama 2 years in a row.
Yeah. And
Maybe 3. I can't remember.
how many natties?
Oh, okay. They did 1 natty.
How many SEC championships?
I don't know. Probably a few. Should have had a few. Probably got cheated out of them.
Yeah. Not to mention he was also cheating on the recruiting side. But okay, so listen,
He was just above his time. Everybody's doing it now. It's legal.
all I'm saying is I don't think he's accomplished as much as he gave him credit for.
So you freeze.
He freeze.
You take Freeze, Heupel, Lane, or Sark. Be the next coach at A&M. That's the only 4 choices you get. Who you taking?
None.
Well, you gotta take one. That's all you go.
No.
So we're getting rid of the football program.
Yeah, if those are the 4 choices, we may just get rid of the football
That's
program.
ridiculous.
Yeah,
Sound like an idiot.
I think I'm kicking you off the screen here.
You might have to. My God. Why you keep scooting over?
I know. Just,
I
like to get
well, the
close.
schedule here, they gotta win Alabama and A&M, first game. California at Auburn. New Mexico at Auburn. Didn't New Mexico beat them last year? Or was it New Mexico State? One of the other beat the hell out of them.
Mexico State, I think it was, yeah.
Embarrassing.
Yeah.
Arkansas at Auburn. Oklahoma at Auburn. Auburn at Georgia. Auburn at Missouri. Auburn at Kentucky.
Under.
Listen,
I don't even have to hear the rest of the schedule.
Vandy at Auburn.
They might lose to Vandy.
Louisiana Monroe at Auburn. A&M at Auburn.
Oh,
Auburn
sure.
at Alabama. Auburn, Alabama.
You know,
So
they're
7
going
and a half.
way on.
How many games did you, so
They're-
who are you calling
I-
the losses?
I'm
How
not
many
even-
losses?
Everybody you named pretty much.
Alabama A&M, California, New Mexico, Arkansas, Oklahoma.
Yes.
Is Auburn not gonna be any good next year?
No.
Okay.
Their quarterback is the same scrub that was there last year.
That guy
Thorne.
that was terrible.
And he sucks. They still don't have any wide receivers other than the unproven freshman that they recruited.
And I can't even say the give me game stuff from maybe
Coleman, who's
Alabama.
a big dude, and he's
Alabama A&M might be the only give me game they have because they got their ass kicked last year by, where's it at?
Listen, this team is not talented. It's not talented. It doesn't have the high level SEC talent on it.
Lost
On
to
either
New
side of the
Mexico
ball.
State at home, 31-10. I mean, it was a dominating performance by New Mexico
It
State.
was
I
dominating.
watched it. It was
Thorne is a bad quarterback. So Hugh Freeze has got his work cut out for him because he doesn't have the pieces on that roster to compete with this schedule. And they're 7.5. I don't think they're gonna make a bowl game. I don't think they make a bowl game.
the bowl state.
Way up, way under. I put as much money as I possibly could on
There you go.
going under. Oklahoma,
Going to it.
7.5. You know, you brought up a great point, right? They're going from the Big 12 to the SEC.
Right.
One.
Right.
They're going from a starting quarterback with lots of years of experience in a fucking offense that was there under that coordinator that he'd been with for a long time
Mm-hmm.
to a guy that has one start under his belt, or if that, or and with new coordinator and yada yada yada, right? I mean, so there's so many things. Not to mention that defense hasn't been as good as people would have wanted it to be under the head coach who's known for their defense, right?
Mm-hmm.
I mean, right now, you look at that Oklahoma team, and where is their strength? Well, I don't know. I guess it's offensively. And we'll see if if Arnold, the new quarterback, the young quarterback, can come in and make the plays and take this team. And I think they may be a little bit better at wide receiver. They brought in some pieces there. But they still don't have like these top end, big time monsters on the outside either.
Right.
Right. Offensive line, I think they're replacing the entire offensive line. That's always a problem. They've got a great offensive line coach, though. The only thing that brings you some level of comfort or
Well, they hired a dog there?
no.
Oh.
And so I don't know. Offensively, they could be okay. They could be mediocre.
How were they
Never
last
know.
year? I'm trying to look back to see what they did last year, because I didn't pay much attention. A couple losses here and there. Okay, anyway. This year, the first 3 games, they play all at home. They got Temple, Houston, and Tulane. Did they lose any of those games?
No.
I mean, Tulane wasn't bad. They've been good the last few years.
They lost their coach this year, though.
Okay,
Right?
I'm just saying,
Mhm.
Tulane, Houston's, you never know.
Yeah, Houston, Tulane, programs
Okay. Then they're coming into the SEC. They got at home games against
Tennessee,
Tennessee.
right off the bat, right?
Yep. Then they got to play at Auburn. Then they got Texas coming to Oklahoma. Then they got South Carolina coming to Oklahoma. Then they go to Ole Miss. Then they have a game at Missouri. Then they're at home against Alabama, and they go on the road to LSU.
I see them going 6 wins, maybe
I think they're really.
7.
I'm curious about those first 3 games. 'Cause I want to see what they do against. I mean, do you think they're going to beat Tulane?
I
They're gonna
do. I
beat
think Tulane's
Houston?
going through a transition with a new coach. I think U of H is going through a transition with a new coach, right?
Yeah.
So, I mean, they've got an advantage over them, but this is a make or break season for them, right? I mean, first year in the SEC, Texas is doing what they've been doing. you know, they've got to come out and play. They've got to come out and play and see, you know, this could be a program turning year. Venables could have his job on the line on this, right? I mean,
Right.
this is that type of year. If they,
Houston was a conference game last year
Yeah.
for them, right? That was a
if
big
they
swallow.
go, if they go 5 wins, Venables is gone, right?
Well, I think he probably might be gone.
I'm going under, but I don't think it's 5 wins. I think it's at 7, maybe 6.
So they're going under though.
I think it's under.
All right.
Kentucky.
Hmm.
I think this team is criminally underrated. 6.5 on the win total. Look, Aggies almost hired Stoops, right? Thank God they did. Thank God they didn't. But Stoops has done a thing there at Kentucky where they always,
Got lucky.
it seems like they always overperform when they're unexpected to and underperform a little bit when they do have some expectations.
So
And this year, there is no expectations. And one of the things, and
why is that? Why no expectations this year?
because last year was down and people still haven't given, don't.
Well, they lost their
Six-
quarterback, their
6.5
running back,
6.5 wins.
but losing their quarterback, is that a
I
bad
think,
thing? Was that a
yeah,
bad thing?
I think they're getting better at quarterback.
There you go. I think so too.
Brock Vandergrift, the transfer from Georgia, is a 5-star
Yeah.
recruit. The guy obviously was buried in the depth chart over there at Georgia behind the guy that Beck and that everybody's got as a Heisman Trophy guy. He won't win the Heisman, by the way. But Vandergrift, I think, is an improvement over the guys that they've had there the last couple of years. Offensively, that team is going to be better. I think they've got
Okay.
weapons at wide receiver. You know, once again, the offensive line has to play better. But this is a team that people are not giving enough credit to. Stoops always has them ready to play defensively. They've got some pieces, especially up front.
Okay, just listen to the schedule real
All right.
quick. Southern Miss, I don't know what
That's
they're.
a win.
Okay, South Carolina at Kentucky,
That's a win.
all right, Georgia,
That's not a win, probably.
Ohio at Kentucky, this should be a
That's a
win.
win.
At Ole Miss,
That's a tough one. That's a toss-up.
Vandy,
That's a win.
at Florida,
That's a win.
Auburn.
At Florida, though, is a tough place, right?
That's what I'm
At
saying.
Florida is a tough place.
They got,
Auburn, win.
at Tennessee,
I think that's a win, actually.
at Texas,
They'll probably lose that one.
and, Louisville game.
They're gonna beat Louisville.
Okay,
I think it's over.
I don't think so.
I think it's over. I think they can get to 7, maybe 8, actually.
Yeah.
I think they get to
I'm
8.
hovering around the 6. I keep thinking the Louisville game, Texas,
Louisville lost a lot.
Tennessee,
Louisville lost.
Florida, Ole Miss,
I'm going 8 wins.
Georgia.
8,
That's ridiculous.
8.
That's ridiculous.
It might be, but mark my words. Look, I was excited watching that offense with Vandergrift at the helm
That's
in the
ridiculous.
spring. I thought he looked great. I thought this is going to be the best offense they've had in at least 3 seasons.
Yeah.
And they always play defense well. They don't have a quarterback. They don't have a running back playing quarterback, which is a step up for Kentucky in some years, right?
Well, the guy last year, I thought he was gonna be good, but he didn't do anything.
He didn't do anything.
Huh.
The year before, they had the guy that Levis that got drafted early, and he didn't do anything either.
He did something the year before that, right?
The year before. I'm going over. I think this is going to be the best offense Kentucky's had in the last 3 years,
Mhm.
and it's going to get them over the hump.
There you go.
There you go. How about South Carolina at 5.5?
I see a win.
We've been counting them as losses for everybody lately, so.
Yeah, I don't see too many. I mean, they're beating Old Dominion.
All right, there's one.
They're gonna lose to Kentucky at Kentucky.
Yeah.
They're gonna lose at home to LSU.
Yeah.
Okay, what are you about? You're not
Yeah,
sure?
no, I'll give it to you.
They're gonna beat Akron.
Yeah,
They're gonna, at home against Ole Miss,
probably lost.
probably. On the road at Alabama,
Lost.
out on the road to Oklahoma,
Lost.
A&M at South Carolina.
Lost.
South Carolina at Vandy.
Hey, that's a win, buddy.
That might be the win for Vandy.
That might.
Missouri at South Carolina,
Yeah, that's a loss.
Wofford,
Win.
and at Clemson. Probably
Yeah.
lost. So what's that, four wins?
4.
Is that what,
With
5.5?
5.5.
Yeah.
Like, so let's say they win one that
Did he get anything big this offseason that we noticed? I mean, they lost their quarterback.
you know, they've got a young quarterback sellers that they're putting the chips in on, right?
What do you mean young? He
Like,
recruited?
yeah, he's a recruit. And he's an athlete too. He's one of these guys that can make plays with his legs and get your team out of trouble at times. But the same problem that Rattler had at times while at South Carolina is the support system, right? Even if this guy is a Heisman Trophy worthy quarterback, he doesn't have the players around him in order to consistently make plays. And they're usually at a matchup deficiency. I just think that they haven't been able to recruit, whether through the transfer portal or as freshmen, enough talent to really be strong competitors in the SEC, unless except for the lesser teams in the SEC.
I'm
Right?
surprised that Beamer hasn't built more of a recruiting base
Yeah.
after 2 years ago, because he had a good season 2 years ago.
Yeah.
And last year was down, and then this year, I don't see it. I see that under
And I think that's the point right there. He has not parlayed any of that into
success.
recruiting,
Yes.
right?
Right.
Success, recruiting success.
Uh-huh.
And to me, he's a good coach. You know,
Yeah.
he does a good job with the players. He just doesn't have the talent on that team. He hasn't
He
been
must
able
not be
to
a good
recruit.
recruiter.
They
Okay.
should hire Jimbo,
Seriously, Jimbo can
like as an
recruit.
assistant coach too.
We're just paying him to recruit.
Yeah.
They don't even talk to the players after you recruit them.
Under. I agree with you.
He's
Under.
gonna ruin them.
How about Arkansas at
This
4.5?
They got had a conference game they're on with this dude.
So who do they got?
Let's see, they got Pine Bluff first, so that should be a win.
Yeah,
At Oklahoma State. That's the loss. That's thinking about.
likely a loss.
UAB.
Yeah,
Was UAB all right last year?
Yeah, they had some talent. They had some players.
At Auburn?
That's another one. That's a toss up.
At A&M?
I'm gonna give it to Arkansas.
At A&M, is that a toss up still?
I'm gonna give it to the Aggies.
Okay. Tennessee,
Yeah.
at Arkansas,
Mm,
LSU,
mm.
at Mississippi State.
Yeah, I think they win that.
That's a toss up. Texas at Arkansas, La Tech at Arkansas, Arkansas at Missouri. You come
La
up with-
Tech. I'm going over.
So they beat La Tech,
I'm going over.
they beat Mississippi State. They beat
Look, Sam Pittman
Well,
is playing
Auburn,
for
you're
his
saying?
life.
what's their over under?
4.5.
5. I'm seeing 5 wins, maybe 6.
I'm going over. And listen, Sam Pittman's coaching for his life over there. You got that former Aggie offensive coordinator.
You quit, man. Like, you keep
Former-
hitting the guns, they're gonna go off. I'm just saying.
Oof.
Easy.
Former Aggie offensive coordinator over there, back at Arkansas.
Who?
Petrino,
Oh.
Bobby
Oh,
Petrino.
former. 1
Yeah.
year Aggies, make
Hey,
them up.
baby.
Former.
Well, he is.
Wow.
And so I guess my point being here is I think they're taking a big step forward this year in the sense of what they've got. They brought in
They have talent.
they brought in the quarterback from Boise.
Oh, what's his name? Not there anymore? KJ Jefferson?
No, KJ Jefferson's gone. They brought in
What about that quick little speedster guy they had behind KJ? Remember that athletic kid?
No, he's gone too. Taylor Green is the guy from Boise that.
Oh, I remember watching him play. He's pretty athletic.
Yeah, he's pretty athletic and they.
Real thin.
Yeah,
Tall.
He's gonna be their starter,
Okay.
and he's a good athlete. He's gonna be able to do some things. So
Yeah.
I'm going over. We're moving on to the next one because
Yeah.
the battery's gonna die on this computer pretty quick.
All
Mississippi State at 4.5.
right. Shit.
Listen, I'm just gonna say it. I'm going under. I don't care what the schedule is. I'm going under because I pretty much picked them to lose every game we've talked about them in. I don't have a whole, everybody, saying, well, this new offense with Levy and whatever,
What's their over and total?
4.5, and, with Levy and all that stuff coming in, they're gonna outscore people. No, I just don't think they're gonna be.
What about Florida?
Florida at 4.5.
We said this awesome, but they're about a in between games. This is a definitely
SEC
do or
Mike
die.
at
This is a do or
the
die.
SEC Mike at the SEC podcast, whatever, is like all over Florida. He loves Florida. He thinks Graham Mertz is going to be the best player and whatever. Look, he's an idiot. Florida's going to suck. Florida's going to suck. They're going to go. They might win 4. I'm going to go.
They might win 5.
Maybe
might.
5.
But still, if it's 5 a good season.
No, and I wouldn't bet this one.
Okay,
It's just
good.
too much.
What
much
about
of a
you
push.
betting Norvell gets fired?
Yeah.
I do
Yeah.
too. There's too much drama. Vandy 2.5.
Vandy 2.5.
We always take the over on them. I don't know why. They're idiots.
Pretty much they got to win all their non-conference.
Yeah,
games.
there was glutton punishment there.
So let's get back to A&M at 8.5. And we're gonna do a full show on A&M coming up,
Yeah.
game by game, but it's just as a quickie here. as a quickie here, A&M, 8.5. What's your original instincts?
Under.
Over.
Okay.
All right.
I mean, I
Done with
just say that just because we have a new coach, new system. Our schedule's not crazy hard, but it's not crazy good. We play a lot of good teams.
At home, Missouri, Notre Dame,
Right?
Texas, right? All at home, LSU at home. So yeah, we don't play Ole Miss, we don't play Alabama. Those are good, good
But
teams.
we
play
always,
Georgia.
lately, last few years, we had slip ups on the road. Our
Yeah.
road record was not good, and we play a lot of games on the road against subpar teams. And
I like it. Look, we're gonna go to Florida early in the season. I think
Yep.
it's our opening SEC game, right?
that could be a lot.
That's the game. I think that's the game that tells you everything you need to know.
Uh,
Oh, listen, if you come out in week 1 and you go beat Notre Dame,
Yeah.
just start counting the money on the over bet that we're making. Okay.
We are taking what?
Yeah. Yeah. Just start counting the money because
Right.
they beat Notre Dame, it's done.
Mm.
But Florida might be the swing game on that, right?
Right.
Florida, they can go and win at Florida, which they've had trouble doing on the road, things like that.
Yeah.
I think that season plays out a lot better. If they go lose to Florida, Mike Elko might as well just pack his bags. He's going to be fired in 3 years.
3 weeks on this podcast.
Quickly, coaches on the hot seat in the SEC. Some questions from the tailgate.
Arkansas,
Yeah, Pittman.
Florida,
Yeah, we talked about it already.
Vandy's always on the hot seat. I don't care who
I don't
you
see
are.
why he isn't on the hot seat. That's for sure.
I'll just throw one out there. If Kirby Smart doesn't win the national championship, I'm probably gonna fire his ass.
All right, Kirby Smart's not on the hot seat, but
Surprises?
Sark, he comes in and like just tanks it.
No. But what's his name? Venables at Oklahoma, maybe.
Venables. All right, I like
That
it.
might be one.
How about newcomer of the year in the SEC? Just some names here. How about wide receiver Jeremy Bernard from Washington at Bama? Obviously, going back to his coach. The new quarterback at Arkansas, Taylor Green. There's
Newcomer of the year this year in the SEC is Mike Elko. That's it. Done.
I love it. I was gonna go with, Nick Scorton, but that's just me.
Scorton is a badass.
Hey guys, that's what we got for today. Come back
Badass.
to do some over under A&M, very specific game by game next time. Holla.
You know,